channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. In today's live stream, I have a very special guest for you guys that is going to give you guys a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, a lot of truth if you open yourself to understanding. Nana Afia Kofi, welcome in.
Thank you, my sister, let me say, my queen, my family, because it has been a long time. We started live streaming. Almost, is it 2020 we met ourselves, or
Yeah,
2021? We've made a live stream last 2 years, and there has been a pathway. It seems like the whole of last year I couldn't hear from you, or it was just some moment I heard from you. So we thank the universe for bringing us together as it is now. So I highly appreciate everything that you are doing for our black community and the awakening of the conscious souls to enlightenment. So I accept your offer to elaborate on the higher frequency, or to move on a higher frequency, to explain everything that I know according to the Khan spirituality, according to how it's supposed to be, to bring harmony on this cosmos. So you're highly welcome to us all, my sister.
yes. Thank you so much. It's been a lot has been going on. Saturn return in the 12th house. Oh man, it's been a lot has been going on. So I had to take a step back and I had to raw calibrate, you know, and now the timing is right to bring people
Sure.
together. So you're somebody that I wanted to get on the channel a while ago, and the internet wasn't working. You didn't come through, and it was just so because the teachings that you teach, the way you explain it, the way that you teach it is so inspirational, and it really gets you to open your mind, open your thoughts. So yeah, without a doubt, I'm highly grateful. I'm a sage as well, because clearly today the
Balance.
the imbalance, there needs to be balance. You know, when you go on the internet and you speak truth, sometimes there's a lot of things that don't like the truth, but
True.
we tried, and here we are. We were able to get the live stream working, um,
Sure.
with love and protection. So today's video is going to be about the serpent energy. What is this? This is the snake. This is medicine. This is your horror line, your chakra system. This is the head of the snake. This is going to be enlightenment, nihas. All of this wisdom we're going to put onto you guys in regarding the pineal gland and regarding not just Kemet, but African spirituality, as Nana Afia Kofi is so well educated with, self educated with. Um, and so you guys hit the like button. While we're going through this, I will put his link inside of the description box below so you guys can follow him, follow his Facebook, share his videos, help, pollinate, help to spread the seeds and water our seeds here. So without further ado, let's get started with, you know, first I want to ask you about the pineal gland. What comes to your mind when you think about the pineal gland and the knowledge about the pineal gland and how important it is to understand
Okay.
the pineal gland?
Thank you. In the first place, I have water. I cannot go without my ancestors, so I pour some for my ancestors. Yeah, that is libation.
Yes.
Sunday is Akweside. Sunday is a nice Akweside day for our ancestors. Sunday is my birthday. 30th April, I'll get my 30 years happening on my Akweside. So anyone who is here can also notify that. And now Sunday, you can just notify me on my Facebook account or my inbox. That is Messenger.
Happy birthday. Sunday's your birthday.
Thank
Yay.
you. Yes, we are of the same year, so we are
Yeah,
brothers and sisters. We are from the
1993.
same constellations. Okay. Yeah. So with much I do or much I share. there has been a lot of knowledges people are putting forth that is not as accurate as it is. Some people are telling us that the third eye, the pineal gland, is something else. Like I don't know how to put it. It's a spirit. But the pineal gland is just telling us our soul. Well, everything that we talk about, pin is talking from something which is very light, which is very small. So we have the pine cone. If you look at how the pine cone is being arranged, so as our divine pineal gland has been arranged, that is where scientists call it thalamus or hypothalamus, getting close to what the mind, the higher consciousness that we used to think. That is what we call it, the pine cone or the pineal gland. So in
Yeah.
Akan, when you come to Akan, the seat of the soul is called Okra. Okra means the soul, and the soul contains our destiny. The reason why it contains our destiny is that when a sperm enters an ovum, the sperm looks like what? How do we mention the sperm? If you look at it, the shape of the sperm, like a little drop of what? The frog's seed in the water, or how I don't know how to put it. Look at the shape of the sperm.
The
It's like a
tadpole.
snake. That
Yeah.
is it. It's like a
Tadpole.
snake.
Yeah.
Okay, that snake goes to fuses with the ovum. So every individual is that snake that animates our head region. So when it animates our head region, that snake energy access the higher consciousness from the divine being. The divine being is talking from Amen Amenet, the divine consciousness, the divine primordial beings guiding this primordial universe. And it is a soul. It is its soul that has given us what? A life on this earth. That is what scientists call it, or the pine cone or the pineal gland. The pineal gland, as I'm saying, talking about what? The knowledge, everything about your Akasha knowledge or Akashic knowledge, talking about your past life, your future life, and everything that you're supposed to come and do here is being inscribed in your pineal gland. Your pineal gland, if you go into the Bible, that is where Moses or Jacob climbed a ladder and met God in the pine. He called that place Bethel. He's talking Bethel, house of what? El, the house of the soul, which is the pine. The house of what? Consciousness, enlightenment, which is the pine. And the pineal gland, as we said, is the soul. It's like a half of what? A grain of a sea, what? Of a rice, which is like a mighty drops of a mighty ocean in our mind. That is why when they give birth to a little child, that child has its head, the middle of its head, what? Breathing. That is talking about what? The seat of the soul, which is the pine. Talking about the enlightenment, the awakening process, which will go through the person's what? Life. So the pineal gland consists what? A lot. It consists a lot. It consists a lot. So if I'm to go or dive inside, we have something called the Nagini or the Naga. The Nagini is talking about the snake goddess, or the Naga is talking about the snake goddess. In Akan, we call it Mamewata. We have cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid contains of what? The spinal what? Or it moves through the spinal cord, which is what? The higher consciousness. The liquid within what? Our soul, or the liquid that nourish our soul. That energy, that movement, that attuned to that cerebrospinal fluid is called the Nagini energy. When you talk about the Nagini, you
Okay.
are just talking about what? The primordial divine mother of this universe. So anyone can search about the Nagini goddess or the Nagini or the Naga, which is talking about the divine serpent, which is our divine mother. Every individual is a serpent. That is why they quote it in the Bible that the serpent was the wisest animal created by the great supreme being. It is all tracing back to our serpent energy. We have 33
Mm.
bones behind us. The 33 bones behind us corresponds to our Kundalini energy. When we talk about the Kundalini energy, we are talking about the serpent energy. And within the Kundalini energy, we
Yeah.
have our DNA. Our DNA represents deoxyribonucleic acid, which access from what? Our previous ancestral life. And it contains what? Our future life. That
Yeah.
DNA have the ability to communicate within the higher form or the higher spiritual form and the physical realm. So within the 33rd vertebra, there is a hole and there is a thread that this fluid passes through to the third eye or to the brain. And we have 12 cranial or 12 what? Cells within the brain, which are called the 12 disciples, which are also called what?
Okay. Hold
The
on.
12.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. let's take it a step back real quick now, because there's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot to take in, and a lot of people gonna understand it because they're gonna get it right away. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, I'm gonna break it down a little bit because this is going out to everyone. So there's people
Sure.
at different stages and different levels. Um, Now, for the most part, we talking to people who are at high level, high vibration. If you're watching this right now and you're staying in tune, if you come back to this video and you stay in tune, it's because you're high vibrational. If your ears are listening to what he's saying, if you're understanding what he's saying, if you're feeling drawn to what he's saying, that's because inside of you, you are seeking higher level wisdom. You're seeking truth. You're seeking a call. So let's take it back because you mentioned a lot of synchronicities. You mentioned a lot of synchronicities. And I love synchronicities because synchronicities, when it comes to occult knowledge, synchronicities is like a light, it's like a sign. When you see how things match up, a pattern, you are able to understand more what is being presented to you. So you had a synchronicity with the snake, right? Because we're talking about the serpent energy, the snake symbolism. And you're also talking about Mami Wata. Now we know that Mami Wata is represented as
As
water.
water.
She's represented as water, and she's also does the same thing that the snake does, like you said. You also said the sperm does the exact same thing. So at the end of the day, this is a representation of life in itself, the existence of life, the existence of time, and also the existence of how things move inside of our realms. Like you mentioned, the primordial waters is
Is
kind of the
kind of
same
the
as
same as
the
the
snake,
snake.
and kind of the same as the sperm. And if you look at DNA, which is melanin, it
Mm-hmm.
moves just like that, that movement.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned that everything is coming from the pineal gland. Like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
pineal gland is called pine because it's shaped like a pine cone. So they called it
Mm-hmm.
pineal gland. And the thing about it, I've said this a lot on my channel, when my on my real spiritual like videos, that if you
Mm-hmm.
watch somebody die, if you watch somebody pass away and they pass away slowly, you will see that their consciousness, their life force, it doesn't end in their feet. It doesn't end in their hands. It ends at their pineal gland center. So if someone's passing away slowly, they may see, I can't feel my legs. Then, oh, I can't feel my hips. Oh, now I can't feel my hands. Because the energy is going and it's raising from the root chakra all the way up into your pineal gland. And the reason why this is important is because this is basically showing that that's the start of consciousness. Yes, you can get energy healing, you can get healing from your lower chakra regions, but your lower energy, for you to know who you are, you have to meditate. And to meditate, you meditate from your pineal gland, you meditate from your head region. I'm not sure what's going on with the live stream right now, you guys. I'm trying to do it for y'all. I'm trying to do it for y'all. Like I said, I'm going through a Saturn return. So there's been a lot of delays. I've had to be super patient. And here we are again. So hopefully he pops back up soon. But as we wait, because I don't want to mess anything up here, Oh, he left. I'm sure he'll come back again. Since he has the link. Basically, what he's explaining is really about a lot of the knowledge that we have today has been Hellenized. It's been, like, I always talk about the Hellenization period with you guys. This is a time period where Greeks were trying to make everything turn into Greek. So Hellenization period means to turn into Greek, right? It means to make it Greek again. And inside of Kemet, there was a time frame where you had all dynasties. Period. And during the dynastic period, you had the Hellenization period, which was Greeks. You also had the Roman period. You also have, even till today, modern day society, the Islamic dynasty is taking over Egypt today. As we speak, Egypt is being colonized by the Islamic group of individuals, right? So it's important, when you want to understand wisdom of occult knowledge, to go to the source. And a lot of the knowledges that we have with the Vedas in India and with Vedic astrology and all these different occult knowledges, a lot of that we have, Europe and all that stuff, which, is mainly not too much occult knowledge, but what they do have there, it's all been jumbled up and turned into its own system. But what was the original system? What was the first religion? What was the first life? What was the first story? And that first creation story dates back way before the Babylonian period, way before Christ, even before the Common Era. This is before the dynastic periods of time. That's where you go to get the truth. This is going to be in the Union theory. The Union theory is the first ever oldest religion there is, and it comes straight out of Kemet. You can do your own research. I advise you to do your own research, because as people spit knowledge to you, it's important to make sure that you are not just listening, but you're also taking the information and executing, and developing your own skills, you know. Um, as I guide you guys to develop your own skills, it's important that you are taking initiative to also learn. So if you research a Union theory, you will learn a lot. But it's better to get a book and read a book on it than it is to search on Google, unfortunately. I've learned the hard way. So basically we're still in this time frame where you think the Hellenization period is over, but it's not really over. English is the language everyone is trying to learn. That's Hellenized. That's Latin. That's Greek. That's coming from that whole era. Oh my God, yay! Okay, he just can't. He's coming back, y'all. He's coming back soon. So yeah, that's still coming from that whole era. That's still coming back from that whole era. We are still very westernized. Westernized civilization is still taken upon everything. So why would we learn their versions of spirituality? Why would we learn their versions of spirituality if it still is implementing some level of control, some level of secrecy? Because the thing about occult knowledge is it's always going to remain secret and sacred. It's not meant to be for everybody to know. Not everyone's going to catch up on the wisdom. However, for there to be this level of stupidity going around in the world, it is kind of negative. It is very negative. So yeah, he is coming back, I believe. I just added him, but I think his screen is so still dark. So you guys remember, hit the like button, right? Like I said, after the live stream, I will put his link inside of the description box below. And I'll make a poster and a post in the community tab too. So I can also put his links there so you guys can find him. But if you type in Nana Afia Kofi on YouTube, you'll find his videos and you'll be mind blown. All right. So yeah, in this Hellenization period right now, we're still being occupied. So how does one free themselves? The only way is to know thyself. That's the only way to free yourself, is to know thyself. When we're talking about knowing thyself, we're going right back to the pineal gland. A lot of people see know thyself and they think that comes from Socrates, right? But by now, a lot of melanated beings and people just overall should know their history and should know history overall. And the truth is that Socrates, Aristotle, Junka Junka, Augustus, Munkanjunka, all these different names that ain't really supposed to be my first language. All these different names. These people actually went into Kemet to study their wisdom and their knowledge. Kemet had the school systems. They burnt down and they destroyed a lot of buildings that were in Kemet. Like, yeah, there's the pyramids, yeah, there's those big things, but that place had been going through the dynastic period. It was under like colonization. Ethiopia is the only place that hasn't been colonized in the whole continent. So Kemet was also colonized. They went through and they took all the noses off of all the statues so that you didn't know that those statues were of Nubian descent. And those statues were of Black descent. They were African. They were Afrakan. If you even look, you'll have the argument of, oh man, you'll see people have the argument of, oh well, um, Egypt isn't part of Africa. Egypt isn't part of Africa. And it's like, thank you for trying to help me. And that I should accept him back. Yes, I understand that. And I already did accept him back. There we go. All right. Now, oops. Okay. You're back now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for helping. We got it under control over here. Thank you so much for helping. All right. So continue. Let me see here. I do have a question for you. The question is, with the pineal gland, um, let's talk about the symbolism with the pineal gland and Ra and the eye of Ra.
So if you are saying about the all-seeing eye, indirectly you are representing to your soul. It is your spirit. We call it the Ba bird. The spirit is called the Ba Baet. In Akan or in every spiritual man, the highest spirituality is that everything is duality. So we have the spirit called the Ba Baet and the soul called Kakayet. So the all-seeing, when you sleep, the spirit lives as a bird, travels around the world, the universe. But it is the divine consciousness, which is the all-seeing eye. That is your divine soul that helps you to remember everything which took place in your dream aspect or in your dream plane, or on your astral plane. That is why we say the all-seeing eye. The reason why we present it as all-seeing eye is because it allows you to move to a higher dimensions, things that you are not familiar in the physical realm. You are able to meet them in the spiritual realm. That is why some people can sleep and meet their old great ancestors or ancestors that they've never met in their life before. Because of what? The all-seeing eye, your soul. Indirectly, the soul doesn't lost. The soul has interconnection with what? Every spiritual and physical aspect of our lives. That is why we represent it as what? All-seeing eye, or the eye of Hero. That is what the Freemason put it on their logo as a square and a compass. Okay, it's representing the all-seeing eye. And when we talk, you mentioned something about the Mami Wata. Mami Wata is tracing to the Nagini, the first primordial consciousness, the first being that came to existence. The first being is the animal being. The animals. That is why we have the animal constellations. That is why we have the zodiac system. It's referring to the zoo, zodiac. Zodiac is represented as what? A zoo, zoology. Animals are being kept as the zoo. Okay, so the zoo of the animals in the constellations or in the skies, which represent to the 12 constellations, representing to our 12 brain nerves, connecting to what? Our third eye, the 12 houses within our brain or within our third eye. It is the same as the 12 disciples of Jesus. And the brain is represented as Jesus because the Jesus was the light. As you asked about, Jesus was the light. Jesus was the snake. Moses put the snake down. The snake turns to what? A big snake swallowing the small snake. Jesus is the sun. And as Moses put the snake down, it turns to what? A big snake. The same as what? Jesus. And Jesus itself is a snake. Because they said anyone that they will hang him, they hung the snake on the cross and they got what? Saved. Okay, when Moses raised up the stake and hung the snake on, they got saved. When Jesus
Yeah,
died too,
yeah.
they hung him too on what? On the stake. Meaning Jesus is a snake. Tracing back to the Mami Wata. So when you come into African spirituality, Mami Wata is classified as what? The great divine feminine energy controlling all life aspects. Okay, the great divine feminine energy, which is talking about what? The divine soul. When you mention about Mami Water, people are afraid of Mami Water. Mami Water is not an any entity which is going to kill you. But Mami Water represents the Nagini, the woman which has what? 7 cobra hairs around her head. The woman with what? A human body and what? An animal face. Tracing back to what? The totemic connections of what? Our spiritual life. So every spiritual person who is a higher conscious being has the ability to connect with the 7 chakras within him or her. When you talk about the 7 chakras, we are talking about the 7 points. And the 7 chakras represent the 7 deities of the week. Every point within you, as your chakra, as your point, correspond to a deity resonating there or staying there to make sure that you're functioning as what Onipa or human being on this earth correspond in harmony with nature. Is that there is as a result whereby you function abnormally, then your soul runs out of you. So everyone who is here listening to everything that we are saying about the serpent energy, that is why if you go to the hospital, they have a cross with the serpent around what? The cross, which is talking about what? The Kundalini energy, which is also tracing back to the jet pillar.
Yes. Yeah.
The jet pillar represents what? The back of Usa. When we talk about the back of Usa, when we talk about every back or the backbone on everything, it's talking about the foundation. So
Mm.
the moment your spinal cord breaks, you are going to die because there's not going to be any fluid, any movement within your spinal cord. And every food that you eat, it goes to the solar plexus. Okay, when you go to the solar plexus, that is another chakra. That is where everything is being taken into consideration, then now absorbed into the etheric form for the body to use it. Every food that you eat depends on how you are going to think, how you are going to live your life. The food that you eat, it goes decomposed. Now the energy which is being taken now corresponds to your cerebrospinal fluid. When you talk about the cerebrospinal fluid, every individual, when you touch your back, you see that there is a line within your back, okay, or behind you, there is a line. That line goes straight to touch your head, your bone, the bone within, or the bone connecting to your head region. That line is what we call it what the snake in human life. Okay, that is the serpent. Okay, or the hole or the seat of the serpent. The serpent, when you change serpent, it becomes present. So the ability for you to facilitate your DNA, your Kundalini energy on the present knowledge that we are moving on. Is it breaking up?
I heard you talk about the jet pillar and everything before that. I want to talk more about the jet pillar.
Yeah. Oh,
They don't even know, like what it is. So let's break it down a little bit. The jet pillar, um, the pillar of Asar, aka the jet pillar.
oh,
This is basically coming from the tree of life, right? And the tree of life is the same thing as the serpent energy. So some people think that the tree of life comes from the Bible, like you said. Some people think that the tree of life comes from the Bible. Adam and Eve underneath the tree, the apple tree. And, it comes from the Azarian story because a star, when Set threw a star into the Nile River in the mythology, um, then he basically into a tree at some point, and the king area that he was thrown into his tree came, and there's always this aroma from this tree, which the tree is Asar. Asar was killed by Set, put into the Nile River, flowed all the way to, I believe, Syria,
yeah.
and
He cut
in
the body.
Syria, it was Syria, yeah.
Sure. He cut the
So
he cut the body into he cut the body into 16 pieces. Some people represent as what 14 pieces. I'll go deep. So you finish with your question.
you said what?
I said I'll go deep after your question. So you continue with your question. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You can keep going deep. I'm just gonna make sure that I every now and then come in just to do it. So basically, um, had between Set and Asar, right? And Set destroyed Asar, put him into the Nile River, which is Happy. Put him into the Nile River, which is Happy, which is Aquarius, and then ended up in Syria. By then, Asar resurrected, and he resurrected into a tree. So even when you look at the Bible and you look at Jesus resurrecting and you look at all these things, it's all mixed up. So basically, Asar, he resurrected, he went and turned into a tree. And in this tree, it had a beautiful aroma. It smelled so good that the king of Syria cut down the tree. And he was like, I want to keep this for myself, right? And it was turned into a jet. It was turned into a pillar. So you can see the pillar over here. That's the jet pillar. And then you can also see the tree here. This is the Kemetic tree of life. And what do you see here? You see the snake, and you see what supposedly Jesus on the cross because he's being resurrected. So where is that coming from? That's coming from the star and the pillar. And then you even see if you're being hung by a tree, you're shaped as a cross. But the thing is, people don't understand that the symbolism for the cross actually means death. But when you put the
Mm-hmm.
loop, the hole around it, when you have the circle and then the
Mm-hmm.
body, it means life. It means
Mm-hmm.
being, and that is the Ankh. Okay, so if you go
Mm-hmm.
walking around with the cross, you actually walking around with resurrection energy. You're walking around with death. It's like carrying a gun versus walking around with an Ankh. So I just wanted to make sure. clarify it, you can continue, please.
Okay. So, yes, you've made a nice contribution or a nice statement. Yes. So, when we talk about Usa and Uset's mythology, it's also tracing back to the serpent energy. Okay, people, when we talk about the serpent energy, people trace that back to only the physical snake that they see. When you talk about Usa and Uset mythology, it's also representing to the third eye or representing to the awakening of every individual. Everything that we are saying here as a conscious being does not correspond to anything else, but it corresponds to yourself. Usa and Uset represent we ourselves, our higher consciousness, our subconsciousness, and how we are able to awaken to truth, how we are able to accept truth on the right dimension, and how we are able to accumulate it and follow it on the right dimensions. So Usa and Uset, as Uset. Uset represents our feminine energy or the karmic energy within us. If you the Kemetic tree of life, I can see that book. I finished reading that book for almost 2 years now, or 1 year now, sure. So we have Uset, which represents what the higher emotional, and Usa, which also represents a different dimensions, and Hero also represents a different dimension. When we go to Usa, Usa represents what the energy within your mind, the ability for you to resonate on a higher consciousness, the ability for you to differentiate between truth and lies. Uset is the harmonious energy corresponding to Bosom Efida is Heteru. They combine this, their energy, and Neptis, the Neptis that some people have been calling the Neptis, they have its own name in Akan, but today I don't want to focus on the Akan names. I want to focus on higher level on how people can explain, or most of the people over here are akin to the English language, but I can help educate some people with the Akan dialect as well. So when we talk about the Usa and Uset mythology awakening, it's also talking about our physical realm. The serpent energy is also talking about our physical realm. When we are being born on this realm, we are subdued towards a family era or a family or a group of people that train us from our infancy. The knowledge that they give it to us when we are young, they tell us to go to mosque or church, whereby they will direct our energy from the physical or from the spiritual realm. So as you are growing, the moment for you or the ability for you to recognize that you are on the bad path when it comes to the right path, the moment for you to think on the right dimension, gives you the awakening process as what? Usa or a great serpent. When you go to the ancient Egyptians, pharaohs, when you look at their forehead, you see that there is a black cobra with what? Raising its what tail, and they have even a hat or a cap with like a cobra cap, which is also talking about what the awakening process, the enlightenment process, how every individual is able to access his kundalini energy, able to access his what serpent energy within him. When you come to the physical
Mhm.
plane, when you look at the moon like this moon, the light over here is the moon. This moon represents Uset, Asi. In Akan, we call it Asi, the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother is the one that gave consciousness. So your brain, for you to think of good, is corresponding to the emotional level of the brain of the moon, and that is the Uset. The Uset that they've talked to you in the Bible. When you go to the skies, the constellations, the moon represents Uset, the sun represents Usa, and the Sirius star, which also represents what? The newborn child or the newborn son, or even the Sirius star gave birth to all the star system. But indirectly, when the star appears from the east or from the west, that is where it tells us that there's going to be spring and a new life, which is going to tell you that there's going to be a new hero, a newborn son. So spring, summer,
Yep.
autumn, and winter also
Hero.
correspond. Yes, also corresponds to what? A new, even the seasons, the 4 seasons that we have also corresponds to the serpent energy. When you look at Atom Equinox, when you look at the constellations, Sagittarius, that is where Scorpio, Judas betrayed Jesus, going to what? Scorpio, the scorpion going to Sagittarius before it goes to winter, Capricorn. When you go to winter, when you enter winter, you see that every life goes deaf. But after spring, you see that everything now starts to sprout. Everything now starts to what? Give life. That is where there has been a fusion within the sky goddess and Mother Earth with a higher consciousness, creating a divine what energy, giving what life. That is other awakening process again in the Mother Earth. And there's a awakening process that goes on what even in what every individual. When every individual is awakening, you are able to think higher. You are able to resonate on a higher frequency. I don't know how people are going to accelerate or people are going to accept what I'm saying. The moment you are awakening, some intuitions, some knowledges, some higher energies comes to you. You are able to access them within your mind. The way you think of is different from how someone who is unconscious thinketh. The way you speak is different from how someone who is unconscious speaketh. So let me put it back to what the Mami Water again. I love Mami Water. The reason why I love Mami Water is that every individual is Mami Water's son. The sperm and the ovum is water. The water goes like a snake. If you are in a plane and you look on the plains of the lands, every water has its shape on Mother Earth like the snake goddess. When every woman is pregnant, the woman goes like a snake. They go side by side, like a serpent. When there is air moving with what? A smoke, you see that the smoke goes like what? A serpent. So when we talk about the serpent energy, indirectly, Adam and Eve, the tree of life that they're giving to you as Adam and Eve never existed. It is as a fabrication of what? Our own ancient mythology of what? How we can live on a higher basis. We don't die and go to hell. Adam and Eve, as they've told you, like it was a tree that they ate. The tree of knowledge is talking about what? The serpent energy, the ability for you to reach on your higher consciousness, the ability for you to touch your third eye, the ability for you. That is why when you watch a lot of awakening videos, there will be two hands that they will touch together. The ability for you to correspond what your cerebrospinal fluid, your energy within you, as well the pyramid that.
Uh-oh. Think we lost connection with Nana Afia Kofi. I'm sure he'll be back. Um, I hope you guys are loving the live stream. Loving how it's going. I know he was doing a lot there. He's gonna come back and yeah, talking some wisdom. And it's really important, you guys, to make sure that first of all, I don't expect everybody to grasp this knowledge or be interested in it. But if you're watching my animal totem videos, if you're watching my Kemetic videos, if you're watching my angel number videos, then you have the interest in occult knowledge. And so I urge you, I don't force you, but I urge you to ask yourself, how can I develop more? How can I move up more? Because there's a lot of things going on inside of our society right now where you need to rise up your level of awareness, your consciousness. It has to be erosion. You have to wake up to yourself. You have to constantly be open to change. What does that mean? That means serpent energy. That means you're constantly open to change, which means you're constantly open to healing. This is what the snake represents. It represents healing, it represents change, it represents movement, it represents understanding of time, understanding of the water, the starting point. So you got to make sure that you are not just listening to this for entertainment. We're not here to entertain you, we're here to educate you. But you have to educate yourself. So as you watch this video, as you listen to what he's saying, as you're listening to what I'm saying, make sure that you are also putting these things into practice. Are you meditating? Are you doing things that are keeping you low vibrational? Are you doing things that are keeping you feeling lower energy? Or are you doing things that are heightening your energy? If you do things that are heightening your energetic frequency, wearing crystals, sleeping with crystals, charging up your frequency, you are an energy source. You are a crystal yourself. You are made up of the stars. You're a star seed from nut. And with that being so, we are an extension of nature. We're no different from a snake. We're no different from that. Our brain might work differently, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, are you going outside? Are you hugging a tree? Are you going outside? Are you getting the sun? Are you putting your feet on the ground? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing things to fuel you? Or are you too caught up inside of today's society to where you're only doing things to drain you? Because as a human species being an extension of nature, we do have a responsibility to heal nature, to water nature, but also to heal ourselves and to also heal our humanity. Happy is Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. Happy is the Nile River. Happy, Ma'at Happy Asar. Happy is the Nile River. Just like he was talking about the Nile River, any river that you see is also a representation of the iconology and the the symbolic meaning of a snake, of the primeval waters, which is the creation story. Bottom line, you are nature. The tree is spending a bunch of time soaking into the atmosphere, soaking the sun, soaking the stars, soaking the universe. Meanwhile, we're inside of homes with windows and closed off, and we go into this place and we spend all our time inside. Go outside, go hug that tree. Because you yourself are a magnetic energy field. Inside, you have a sun inside of you. You have like the light of like 16 suns inside of you. Meditate. And a lot of the things I say it off of experience. It used to be really hard for me to meditate at one point, but I had to learn how to tell my mind no. I had to learn what to tell my mind yes to. Only say yes if it's a woohoo, like a hell yeah. But a lot of things you have to heal in order to get this knowledge. It's going to challenge you to do things differently. It's going to challenge you to change. And if you decide to change, you decide to metamorph, you decide to evolve. This is DNA. What is DNA? DNA is melanin. Like I said in my previous videos, because that is the only real element inside of the periodic table. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. It's the only element really inside the periodic table, and everything else, like the westernized people like to do, the Hellenized people like to do, they will take pieces. They'll take something and they like to dissect it into a lot of different stuff, but they don't do it right. So all those people who wrote your history books, all the people who wrote your science, modern day science, all the people who wrote your modern day this, modern day that, chemistry, all that stuff, modern day chemistry is based off of people that were learning kindergarten grade of comedic knowledge. Yeah. They weren't learning the whole thing. They were just taking what they could and they ran with it and said, let's try to take over. We have power, but they didn't because they forgot nature. They forgot to respect nature. They were thinking about how they could control as opposed to how they could become one. And so that's how we end up how we are today. And that's why we have so much cleaning to do. Having so much cleaning to do means having so much what? Healing to do in this time frame of Ma'at Happy Asar, which is Aquarius, with the phenomenon of precession. Okay, so Nana Afia Kofi is, I already accepted him to come back in, so the internet and stuff is doing what it needs to do to get him back in. So he should pop back up soon, but he's already been accepted to come in. So yeah, you guys, if you're liking this video, make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you look up Nana Afia Kofi and his YouTube channel, and please go and follow him there. I will be bringing guests on more often. I'm going to see if he can come on here one last time since the internet is acting a little different. If he could come in now, or I mean soon, whenever he comes back, we'll finish it up there and let him teach us some more. But yeah, that's what it comes down to. You have to be able to implement. I see it all the time in the comment section. How do I do this? You watch an entire video on on um on any subject on my channel, and in the comment section I will still get, what does this mean, after the entire video told you what it meant, right? So you got to really ask yourself, are you listening to gain wisdom, or are you listening to find some sort of shortcut? Are you listening out of fear, or are you listening out of courageousness? Are you trying to learn the lesson, or are you looking for somebody to fix your issues? Even with readings, when I get readings when it comes to spirituality, you guys, and I get readings. I do get readings for people who are, you know, healing themselves, and they're ready to heal, and they're learning and they're growing. Every time I do their reading, they've progressed, they've grown. But then I also get readings from people who call me for a reading and say, and they don't like the answer I give them. They don't like the truth. They don't like, okay, goddess of 1,000 names, this is your third time telling me that he's trying to come back. And this will also be my third time telling you that I already know. it's the um it's the YouTube server. I've already accepted him, so it's the internet that's making him not come back, right? But what you can do is listen to what I'm saying right now. Oh man. So basically there is there you have two different types of people. He'll pop up soon. He will. But it's the internet is lagging, and YouTube itself is lagging because they don't like this type of information being out. So you get the people who come through for readings, and um they're wondering, oh my goodness, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do that? Give me a shortcut. And it's like, no, spiritual path takes work. It takes work. I'm going to give you tools. I'm going to tell you what it is that you need to do, but it's not always going to be what you want to hear. It's not always going to be what you want to hear. And not everybody's ready for the truth. So it's not a path for everyone. It's not a path for everyone. It's not a path for someone who wants to be entertained. It's not a path for somebody who wants a quick fix. It's not a path for somebody who thinks that other individuals are going to help them every step of the way. It is a self-healing path, and I'm just there to show you how powerful you are and to show you the tools that you need in order to excel, to show you some light. But you have to say, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing to spiritually grow? What type of information am I taking in? Have I researched about Kemet? Have I researched about African spirituality? Have I bought a book? Have I read? Have I listened to an audio play? What have I done? Did I go outside and pour libation onto earth? Did I meditate this morning? You got to ask yourself, because everyone has the ability to heal themselves. You have the ability to heal yourself. You are a star seed. Nut is the Newt is the Milky Way. She's a representation of the Milky Way, which was born from the primeval waters, which is what he was talking about. Nana Afia Kofi. We all come from blackness, from nothingness. The creation story, the Big Bang theory, it's not coming from modern day science, it's coming from Kemet. And you will know this if you just looked at a video, if you just read a certain book, if you just read, look up Muata. I'm giving you the sources. Muata Ashby. Look into his books. Brilliant books. You learn a lot. Right? I'm trying to remember somebody's name right now. I don't know why it hasn't come to me. You can also look up Dr. Oh my gosh, Dr. Oh my goodness, you guys, I cannot think of the name. Dr. Lilia Africa. He will teach you about melanin. He will teach you about how that is the only real element on the periodic table, and how everything else is a, just all part of melanin. Because melanin is black, it's dark, it's dense, it's absorption. It has the frequency of everything in it. A black hole. The primeval waters is black water. It's black substance. And then from there comes Nut, the deity that represents the universe, the sky, the Milky Way. What is the Milky Way? She is also, like many other goddesses and deities inside of Kemet, she is also um, a divine mother, okay? And basically, she gave birth to everything in existence, as above, so below. She gave birth to the stars, every single star, the sun, every single thing that came out of our universe, she gave birth to it. The Milky Way is a divine mother, goddess. So, what does that mean? That means that we ourselves are star seeds, right? Because we come from her, which come from the primeval waters. This isn't rocket science. This isn't rocket science. This isn't modern day science. You look up and you see it. It doesn't take rocket science for you to know that you're a crystal, for you to know that you're a light beams, for you to know that you're a star seed. You can go outside and you can feel it. You can close your eyes and center yourself and decide to tell your mind no, tell your mind to stop chattering, decide to tell your mind to stop um, bringing you down, to think positive thoughts, to let go of thoughts, to release thoughts, to transmute thoughts, to raise your frequency. And you can literally get to the point where you can feel all of this knowledge and it will feel very familiar. You don't need to be convinced if this is the path for you, if you are aware that you are a star seed, right? So, with all that being said, I really want to get him back over here so that we can um, finish this up. Um, and yeah, there's no more notification coming from him at the moment. So, I'm waiting for another one. Even if he said he sent it, I'm looking right there. And sometimes the internet and the, you know, stuff runs a little slow because they don't like videos like this. But Also, when he was talking about Asar and he's talking about Uset and he's talking about horror, he's talking about Haru. Some of you may be like, "What the heck is that?" Like, we gonna get hit. We're gonna get hit because it's really important. Rarely do I, or would he, or would anyone inside of the community really call them Isis or call them Horus or call them Osiris. So it's important to understand that those are Greek given names. Those are not the original names. And it's also not the original language. It's not part of the Medu Neter. So the Medu Neter is a divine speech. All these things came with a lot of magic. It came with a lot of ancient wisdom. It came with a lot of intention of positivity with it. So when you speak the Medunetter, when you say Aset in meditation, when you say Aset while you're pouring libation, when you speak words like Nihas, which means enlightenment in the Medunetter, when you speak words like Smai, which means union or yoga in the Medunetter, when you say these different words like Jed, pillar, and Asar, and all these things, you will see a difference in frequency speaking those words versus calling them by their Greek names and calling them Osiris and calling them all these different things. It's just like Cleopatra. Some people walking around and you're black and you still think that Cleopatra is a black woman. Some may say it doesn't matter, but it does matter that you at least know your story and you at least know right from wrong. And the reason why is because the more you believe the fake story and the more you don't know thyself, the more confused you may become. And the more you will fall for trickery. So it's important to use Asar, Assad in their original languages. Like I said, even with Cleopatra, you listen to Cleopatra. Does that sound like Medu Neter? Does Cleopatra sound like Ra? Does it sound like Uset? Does it sound like Neptet? It's a whole different language over there. She is from the Greek dynasty. And she was ruling during the times when Greeks ruled during that dynastic time period, the Hellenization period. And she is a white woman. And that's okay. But it's not okay when Black people are running around and they're fighting and they're saying, "How dare you make a movie of Cleopatra and make her white?" Please make her white because that's what she was. And also show the fact that that was a time period where they took over too. Let's talk about that. Let's spread that wisdom. Let's talk about Nefertiti. Oh, yeah, that sounds like it came from the Medu Neter. That sounds like the original tongue. Nefertiti? Nefertiti or Cleopatra? Gotta use our head, y'all. So it's going over an hour. I'm gonna call it the end of this live stream. It was hard getting this one up. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna try to do this more often. I'm still finishing the Kemetic signs. You guys are like, oh my God, work in divine timing. Work in divine timing. As you wait, do your own research. But it's gonna come. It's just coming in divine timing. I cannot rush this process. Um, His links will be inside the description box below. I'm going to put it on right now as soon as I leave. If you look up Nana Afia Kofi inside of YouTube, you will see that he is on YouTube. He has 13 subscribers right now. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. He's also on Facebook. His birthday's on Sunday. Follow him on Facebook. And I'll put the link for that inside the description box below. And if you follow him on Facebook, he's going to go live on Sunday. You do not want to miss that live because it's going to be a celebration. And you don't want to miss any of his lives because they be lit. I already said what the information is. It's going to be inside the description box below. Oh my goodness. Y'all be tripping me out sometimes with the demands and the impatientness. a lot of times the people who aren't talking in the chat is the people I'm talking to. Because you got it, especially feminine goddesses. Receive, listen, wait, tap into your feminine power. And if you find it hard to do that, do it. And you'll find your way. You may go through some challenges, but you'll find your way. You'll heal to it. All right. Somebody said, what about the light language? Can you speak it? What about the light language? I'm trying to understand what you're asking me. What about the light language? You mean the Medu Neter? Okay. So the Medu Neter is a very complex language that is very ancient. And the Medu Neter is what was spoken inside of ancient Egypt. It was what was spoken inside of Kemet, which is not Egypt, it's just Kemet. And I do not know how to speak the full language, but I do know some words and I am still learning. And you know what? I asked you to learn the Medu Neter as well. So, Medu means to speak. It means to speak, it means speech. And Neter means divine. So it means divine speech, divine speech. Okay, so when you speak any of the Medu Neter in modern day society is called hieroglyphics. So that's what Medu Neter is. When you see the different pictures and symbolisms, that's the Medu Neter. It's not called hieroglyphics. It's called Metu Neter. Think about it. Just like the Cleopatra and the Nefertiti. Which one sounds more like it belongs? Hieroglyphics or Metu Neter? So the thing about the Medu Neter is the reason why I call it a light speech is because it's not just any type of speech. It's a speech that also carries intention and weight to it. And if you just do your own research, or if you continue to watch my videos, or if you just buy a Medu Neter book, whatever you have to do, even if you just start saying the goddess's name, just a little bit of things. Like I said, Nehast means Nihas, and that is enlightenment. Just a little bit of things here and there. Ta, that means earth element, that also refers to the physical realm. Um, you have Pet, which is the subtle realm, and that subtle realm is going to be the astral realm. And then you have the subtler realm, which is going to be the where the Akashic records are, where I did a video about that. And that's going to be the causal realm, the realm of all causes. And then after that, you have home, which is where comedian people talk a lot about going to rest and not being reincarnated, because your heart was as light as a feather. So you go to rest, you go home. You don't get stuck inside of those other realms. So just learning even just 10 words, just a little bit of words, speaking the Medu Neter, just saying a few words while you're meditating or while you give libation, while you do happy into the earth, while you pour water into the living organisms inside of earth, like the primeval waters does to create nut. That is a really good thing you can do. And you will see, just put it in practice. Sometimes it's great to ask questions. There's a time to ask questions, and there's a time to, oh my God, I was running my mouth just waiting for
Yeah,
you to come back
I've come
so we can
again.
close out.
Yeah, I'm coming. Let me
Please.
join my
Thank you.
my earpiece.
I felt so bad, like just ending it without you.
Yeah, the
So
network.
let's. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know how far. So how far now? The network was just breaking up. I don't know. Our internet should be strong for now. See,
Okay.
now I've come inside, but we can talk.
I was just saying, I was just inspiring people to just, it's not just about listening, it's about doing also, you know. So, yeah, that's all I was saying. So
Sure.
yeah, I feel like I've talked
So
enough now.
don't worry, don't worry. We have to make sure one day we'll create our own website so that there will not be any interference. Okay.
Oh
Because
yeah,
when you are doing a lot of people on this line, they don't want to just let everything go live. So they try to just harass our network. That is talking about the CIA. You see, we are not for them, they are not for us. But we are not talking against them, but they are trying to just manipulate us. But no matter how they are going viral, no matter how they are trying to suspend everything, we are moving forward. So as I was
yeah,
educating my fellow Africans, my fellow melanated people, when we go to the Nagini or the Nganga, which was tracing back to the right original cosmic divine mother, which is talking about the divine consciousness. When you talk about consciousness, consciousness is talking about how far all these being came into being, all this universe came into being. It's based on upon or is based upon a fundamentals. The fundamentals of this universe is what the primordial soul, which has condensed into a liquid form, that is the waters, and the form of the water takes or the deity that take resonance of the divine nunet, the waters, is what the Nagini, the primordial mami water or the primordial mother of the waters. That is where we trace back to what our divine consciousness. So this universe is in a divine waters, waters and covering or governing all this universe. Even if you go to the Bible, according to the Christian mythology, Psalm 24, the earth is laid in the floods. The floods is talking about the divine consciousness, the energy of the serpent. That is why every waves goes like even the serpent. If you go to the seashore, the waves goes like the serpent. It's tracing back to the serpent's energy. Sorry, tracing back to the serpent's energy. If you go to the hospital, Imhotep was the first what? Let me say doctor in African society. Imhotep was also functioning as what a great divine being. Okay. So when we talk about the serpent energy, we are not talking about any snake walking around how you go and kill it and you say it is energy you have to eat to get energy. No, we are talking about the arising of your divine consciousness, the charism, the Christ, the Christos, the Christ, the Christ, the oil. You understand? That is it. The Christ, the oil. So some people have been thinking that Jesus Christ is a man sitting in the skies, but the Christ, the Christos, the grace, the anointing oil is talking to the what? The primordial waters, tracing back to the consciousness from where all life came. All consciousness emitted. All consciousness emits from the divine conscious waters, the primordial waters, and it takes form like the energy of what the serpent. That is why we represent as a serpent energy, the Kundalini energy, the energy for awakening of every enlightened soul. Okay, before everyone comes into this cosmos, you pass through the astral plane. When you talk about the astral plane, you are talking about etheric body. Every individual has an etheric body. The etheric body is just talking about your spiritual body. Okay, that you are able to manipulate from your what? From before childbirth. Okay, after incarnation or through your incarnation period, you get your etheric body. You come here, you have to make sure that you connect with that etheric body. So as I was talking to Adam and Eve's story as well, Moses' story as well, they are all tracing back to the awakening of what? Our consciousness. The medicine that they used to heal in the ancient of days in Akan, we called Oduyefo. The one who heals is called Oduyefo. The healer is called Oduyefo or Odunsifo. Hoodoo.
is
The,
that
pra-
in
the
that's what
Yeah, that is in hoodoo.
that West
Hoodoo,
African
hood,
language?
yes, West African dialect. Hoodoo,
Yeah,
someone who is a healer, okay, and someone who
in
knows the
Ghana.
grounds. In Ghana, yeah, the one who is a healer, who is a priest, we call him Odusifo, Odunsifo, or Obi a Onim Form, or someone who knows the grounds, okay, or Oduyefo. And Dru means to become, Dru means to arrive. Du also means stand. Du also means to become heavy. Du also means to arrive. Du also means to allow the spirit of universe to come and take resonance in what? Our form, to help us kanchi. Kanchi means to conjure, to call for the divine spirit to come and interact with what the African brothers and sisters. That is the community, the Omai. Okay, so before every individual in a can, if you can climb us to your higher spiritual level, you have to go to the Oduyefo or Odunsifo or Beonim from the healer so that he can use the Edro. Edro also represents what the medicine from the plants and animal what bodies that we use to heal ourselves. Okay, so when we are talking about the serpent energy, it goes viral to the awakening processes. It goes viral to the enlightenment processes. It goes viral to become a conscious soul. Okay, because that fluid that I've been talking about, the Christ, the Christos. So Jesus Christ is as a result of what? That chrism that greases our cerebrospinal what? Bones. That 33 bones. When the light when it starts from the caudal vertebra, the last vertebra is called the caudal vertebra, the last chakra, the root chakra, the red energy. Okay, they all have colors. The red energy. When the energy is emitted from there, it goes like a serpent energy. Okay, it goes within. That is what the scientists classify as codes and codons. Okay, with your DNA, the alleles and all those stuffs. Okay, so it's deep. It's deep. But I wish today I cannot go more. But today will be our first for this year. But it could be more for the next video because I don't want to just keep long because I'm at work. I was given that time or that hour that you scheduled for me. I was trying to accomplish it. I have to return back to work. So you can see
You're
I'm
at
at
work
work.
right now?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
at
we got
work.
to go.
Yeah, so for now I'm at work.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's been over an
Sure.
hour. You've added so much to the live stream. We
Yes.
will have you.
So yeah. So what I'll say is today is our first time for us using this line or let me say let's link. So everything that was not in the right way, we pardon our audience, our viewers, to just forgive us. But the next streaming, I'm sure is going to be boom. I have to make sure that I'll get enough data on my phone, okay, and I have to make sure that I'll get the free time to speak to my people. And we have to make sure that the internet is being set in such a way that there will not be any breakup, okay. And it's not our fault. At times, to the YouTubers or those people that monitors here, they try to do a lot. Okay, I cannot talk about them for here. So, a shout out to everyone who came here for this enlightenment message. And Sunday continues to be Akwesi Day, a day for remembering of our ancestors. We pour libation to honor them. And it is 30th April. I'm getting 30 years as well. It's my birthday. So I salute all conscious souls. And my sister, highly respect you for your time, for your energy, for your trust that you have in me, that I can give enlightenment to my people. I really appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you.
Yeah,
Hete.
we have to go together to create. There's an African proverb. It says if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So we have to rely on each other. But thank you so much, you guys. Check out the links in the description box below. I'm going to put them in as soon as I get done with this live stream. Check out the links. And I'll also make a post in my community tab tomorrow so you know who he is and where to find him. He will be back again. So thank you so much,
Yes,
everybody.
I'm expecting a lot from you. I'm expecting a lot from you. There's a lot of knowledge I can pour for my people, so I'm expecting a lot from you, okay?
We need
Okay.
you. Okay.
Hete.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hotep. Peace. Take
Hotep,
care.
Hotep, Hotep. Okay. Same to
All right, you subscribers, bye bye. Like I said, check out the links in the description box. Welcome, Global Green Book. I love you. I didn't see too many familiar faces in the chat except for you. And also, of course, welcome everybody. I love all of you. I'm grateful for all of you guys. Like I said, it's going to be way more often that I bring him along because I need the divine masculine energy as well as the feminine energy so I can be more feminine. Sometimes getting on here and doing all that talking, it's good, but it is taxing, especially someone who wants to be inside their feminine energy a lot. So yeah, is the teamwork makes the dream work. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys inside of the next video. Bye bye.